ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रय विनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। मूगं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं। परमानन्दमाधवम्। ओम वाङ्मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्मयेधि वेदस्य माणिस्थः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासीः अनेनाधीतेन अहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि हृदं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्माम् अवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम्। ओम शांति शांतिः शांतिः। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा जिह्वे पिबस्वामृतमेतदेव गोविंद दामोदर माधवेति। हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति। हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति। So, we were in shloka number 14 last week. ततश्वेतैर्हयैर्युक्ते महति स्यन्दने स्थितौ माधवः पाण्डवश्चैव दिव्यौ शङ्खौ प्रदद्मतुः. So we said thereafter, after what? After the conch being blown by Bhishma Pitama and all the Kauravas, thereafter, immediately after that, Shvetair Haye Yuktehi, with the chariot which is held by white horses. Shvetaihi Haye Yuktehi, Mahati Syandane, and their chariot is not a normal chariot at all. It's a Mahati, great chariot. And I spoke about that last time. Why it is great? One, of course, it is being given by the fire god himself after they burned the Khandaprasth. Before they made it Indraprasth before that. So, Mahati Sandhane, that's one reason why it is great. And I told you about the length and breadth of that thing, that there is like a rest room, there is like a proper storage of weapons and equipments, and it's really big in terms of a ratha. That's why it is, in terms of a chariot, that's why it is called great chariot. One more reason why it is great is that it is a chariot which cannot be defeated by any enemy. That is also the reason of it being a great chariot. Nobody can pierce through that chariot to get into the actual army to destroy them. That is the reason why it is called Mahati Syandane. There is one Acharya by the name Ramanuja Acharya. He says, Trailokya Vijayopakarana Bhute Mahati Syandane. That chariot which can win any war in all the three lokas. That chariot is called Mahati Syandane. That's why it is called Mahati Syandane here. Mehati Syandane Sthitau, sitting in that great chariot. Madhavah, Pandavah cha. Then first one to blow the conch was Madhavah. Now the point to look here is, you need to remember, Vyasji is writing Bhagavad Gita. Sanjay is only narrating to Dhritarashtra. Okay? So, writer is Vyasji. Of course, being Vyasji, being a devotee of God, he did not see anybody in the beginning. He saw only Madhava first. He saw Lord Krishna first. Because Lord Krishna is placed right in the center and in the front of the whole array of the army of Pandavas. So, the first side of the Pandava side, Vyasji saw only Bhagwan Krishna. That's one reason why Madhava. The another reason why Madhava came first is, there is nobody who can be compared with the one who blew conch on the other side, Bhishma Pitama. There is nobody in comparison to Bhishma Pitama in the whole of Pandava array. The only one who can compare or compete with Bhishma Pitama is Lord Krishna. And you know what? The thing is, even Bhishma Pitama, with humility, with devotion, accepted this reality. And I'll tell you why. In Mahabharata it is said that Bhishma Pitama, why he accepted with humility, he said that before the war, that Lord Krishna, Sham Sundar, I promise you I'll defeat you in this war. What do you mean by defeat? Bhagwan has already taken a vow before the war started that he is not going to touch any weapon. निहत्ते मैं युद्ध में आऊंगा, भगवान ने पहले ही बोल दिया. और भगवान ने अपनी नारायण सेना सारी की सारी किसको दे दी? कौरवों को दे दी. तो where is the point of defeat? So here Bhishma Pitama said the defeat is what? You took a vow that you're not going to pick up any weapon. I will force you to take a weapon. That is going to be the defeat of Bhagwan Krishna. That is what the vow Bhishma Pitama took before the war. That trust me, I'll force you to pick up the weapon at any point in time, and that's how I'm going to defeat you. Because see, that's not out of competition, it's out of devotion. He said, "Aap aise kaise? How can you be in a war, such a big war, and you think that you can keep the vow of not even touching a weapon? I'll make sure that you will do it." That's one of the reasons why Madhava is brought first here. So the first one to blow the conch is Madhava. And then followed by him, Pandava cha eva. All the Pandavas. Of course, here he is going to speak about Arjuna first. Pandava cha eva. Divyau Shankau Pradadmatu. I told you their conch is Divya. Divya means usually conch or Shankha comes from ocean. But this Shankha has not come from the ocean. It is not come from any worldly plane at all. That is the reason why the word Divyau is placed there. Divya means there are three criteria of Divyata. One is it is not come or made of the 5 elements which are available in the world. 5 elements is what? You know the 5 elements, right? Fire, water, space, earth, air. Very good. So anything in this cosmos, anything, whether it is developed out of science or whether it is developed of anything, it has to be made of these 5 elements only. It cannot be any third or fourth thing. Everything in this whole cosmos is made out of these. But here, Divya means it is not from these 5 elements at all. It has not come out of any hard work in this loka, in this Prithvi as a loka. It's not come from this world. The third thing which is very important is that it is definitely on a higher side, better than whatever is available in this world. Divyao ka matlab ye nahi hai ki neech cheez ho. Matlab there is something which comes from, not from this loka, but it's from a below loka. That is not what is meant here. It is definitely greater in capacity and in its effulgence, much higher than things available in this world. That's why it's called Divyao Shankhav Pradatmatu. They both blew their own conches. Now, here, Sanjay is going to explain the series how the conch blew from the Pandava side. The next shloka says, I will read 2 shlokas together, 15 and 16. Panchajanyam Hrishikesho Devadattam Dhananjayah Poundram Dadmau Mahashankham Bhima Karma Vrikodaraha Ananta Vijayam Raja Kunti Putro Yudhishthiraha नकुलः सहदेवश्च सुघोषमणिपुष्पकौ पाञ्चजन्यं हृषीकेशो देवदत्तं धनञ्जयः पौण्ड्रं दद्मौ महाशङ्खं भीमकर्मावृकोदरः अनन्तविजयं राजा कुन्तीपुत्रो युधिष्ठिरः नकुलः सहदेवश्च सुघोषमणिपुष्पकौ. Now Sanjay is enlisting the count name of each of these Pandavas, like he said for them, for Kauravas, the same way he is explaining here. He says, Panchajanyam Hrishikesha. Panchajanyam was the name of the count of Hrishikesha is Lord Krishna. Now, there's one thing which I want to highlight here. As and when we move through, for both Arjuna and Bhagwan, there are many different names it will come. When Bhagwan will address Arjuna, at very rare places he will use the word Arjuna. He will use some of the other name. But I want to tell you, the beauty of Sanskrit is every word has got an implied meaning at that place. Now, here he uses the name Hrishikesha for Bhagwan. Now, Hrishikesha in Sanskrit, Hrishika means Indriyanam. Indriya means senses. Indriyanam Isha iti Hrishikesha. That one who lords over all the senses. All the senses of who? The question should come, whose senses? All our senses. Please remember, all our senses are fulfilling all their work and doing everything to please who? The self seated within you. Okay? So who is called Antaryami Paramatma? This is the word I will use for him. So Hrishikesha means that one who lords over all the senses of everybody. We may feel that we are running after things and things of the world to satisfy ourselves. Ourselves means who? Yes, the joy and happiness is felt by the mind, which is intellect and mind. और अंतःकरण कहूंगा मैं उसको अभी, अंतःकरण वर्ड से यूज करना. बट द अंतःकरण इज ऑल्सो फंक्शनिंग बिकॉज ऑफ हु? द सेल्फ सीटेड विद इन अस. When one person leaves the body in Sanatan Dharma, one person leaves the body means what? Atma doesn't go anywhere. Atma is present, omnipresent in this whole cosmos. The Antakaran, which is the intellect and that equipment of 4 equipments which I call mind, intellect, memory and ahankar, ego. These 4 equipment along with the senses, along with our vasana, leaves the body in this Atman only. And it goes and searches for another body and it comes back there. I'll explain you when we come into the 2nd chapter. Bhagwan is going to pick up this topic on a very elaborate basis. When he says, Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya, that shloka will come, I'll explain you this point. But at this point, just keep in mind, in Sanatan Dharma, Atma is common in everybody. But all the senses are functioning for Atma only. That's why Bhagwan's name is Hrishikesha here. Hrishik means Indriya, senses. Okay, so Bhagwan blew his own conch, which name is Panchajanyam. Then Dhananjaya. Oh my God, now every word I will have to pick up, meaning by meaning. Arjun is Dhananjaya. Now in Sanskrit, Dhanam Jayati Yah Saha Dhananjaya. That one who has won over all the wealth in the world. Now how do you explain that? All the wealth in the world. So I have to, explain you through a story here. It's coming from Mahabharata. I told you, in between I had to pick portions of Mahabharata to explain you the point. What happened when Indraprastha was established? One day, Pandavas were seated in their throne at that Indraprastha and they were just, enjoying and looking after the work of there. Suddenly, Narad Muni came. Now, the thing is that, Narad Muni is portrayed very wrongly in some places. I do not know why. But actually, please remember, wherever Narad Muni goes, wherever he has gone, that person, whosoever he has met, that person must have grown into something different. He would have definitely overgrown himself. Whether it is Valmiki, because Valmiki also was given the Diksha by Narad Muni only. So, usually it is common parlance, they say, Narad ji jahan bhi jate jhagda karwa dete hain. Aisa hai nahi. Narad ji, wherever he has gone, that person would have definitely grown above wherever he was. So what happened? Yudhishthir and their Pandavas were seated in Indraprastha. Naraji entered. Naraji was amazed with the beauty of Indraprastha. Indraprastha, that palace was out of the world. Really is the way Mahabharata explains. I cannot even explain you certain parts of it because it will take a lot of time. But it is an out of the world palace. It is made by a Mayavi Rakshas also. So he was very impressed by how Pandavas have kept the Indraprastha. He said, I don't think there is any palace in comparison to you in either Swargaloka or Yamloka. So Yudhishthirji was sitting there. Suddenly it came into Yudhishthir's mind. Why do you explain two different palaces, Yamloka and Swargaloka? Swargaloka, of course, everybody has heard at least. Some of us must have gone also. I will not say that. Why should I discount that fact? So I would say that, whenever we hear Swargaloka, it's like abundant of happiness and abundant of joy there. But there is another loka which we usually call Yamloka, where Yamraj is the actual ruler. That loka is, another name of that loka is Pitraloka. Pitralok to sab sunte hain. Especially जब पितृपक्ष आता तो सुनते ही सुनते हैं. Pitraloka is Yamloka only. Okay? So there are two kingdoms he was explaining. Naraji said, there is no kingdom beautiful than yours. Even the Yamloka and Swargaloka is not compared to that. So Yudhishthir came and asked, can you explain Yamloka? So Naraji, instead of explaining the Yamloka, and said, you see, you know what? Your father, Pandu, has seen the Yamloka. But he has not seen the Swargaloka. Now you see, it sparked the seed in Yudhishthir. Now why Pandu has not seen the, Pandu Maharaj, our father has not seen the Swargaloka. So this is why I said Naraji will plant one seed which will be the source of growth of that person, by the way. So he said that. So suddenly Yudhishthir asked the question, why do you say that? Why Pandu Maharaj has not gone to the Swargaloka yet? No, he is not eligible, Why he is not eligible? He said because in his lifetime, as a king, he never did the Rajasuya Yagya. So Yudhishthir had this burning question. Now I want to make sure that my father goes to Swargaloka. So he asked Naraji, can I do something for my father so that he can go and visit Swargaloka? He said, yes, there is an option. I told you Naraji will plant the seed to grow. So he said there is one option. It is said in our scriptures that some karmas, if the children do, the pitras get the other loka. They can enjoy different loka. So he said, he was with, great curiosity, he asked Narada that, what is that karma you tell me? You do Rajasuya Yagya. Your Rajasuya Yagya will help your father to visit Swargaloka. Yudhishthir said, oh my God. Now what should I do? I have just got this kingdom. We hardly have even ruled also. We don't have money for Rajasuya Yagya, requires a lot of money, a lot of investment in it. So he heard Naradaji and Naradaji went away. Saying this, he went away. He will not explain you what to do afterwards. You have to figure out yourself. Anyway, Yudhishthir ran to Bhagwan Krishna and asked, what is it now? He is telling me to do Rajasuya Yagya. What should I do? So Bhagwan Krishna said, don't worry. I will go with Arjuna and we will do Rajasuya Yagya. You start doing the Yajna. For Rajasuya Yagya, one condition is that you have to go, Digvijay कहते हैं उसको. Digvijay means you have to go and win over all the king and all the kingdoms in this world, in this earth. So he said, we both will set out. Bhagwan Krishna sat with Arjuna and they both left for winning all the kingdom. So what Arjuna did, Arjuna single-handedly defeated every king on this earth. Except the kingdoms which are known to them, he just left them. Especially he left Hastinapur also. Hastinapur is their own brothers, so they can't go and defeat them. So apart from those kingdoms, Arjuna went and defeated every king on this earth. And they all accepted the flag of Yudhishthir. That's the sign of winning the Rajasuya Yagya. They accepted the flag of Yudhishthir. And he collected a lot of money from those kings. And all those kings started giving tax to Yudhishthir during their lifetime. That's how all the money came. As part of this Yagya only, next phase I will explain you afterwards. So because he collected all the money and he won over all the kings, Arjuna got this name called Dhananjaya. He won over the wealth of the whole world. That's why the name came. So I told you, every name has got a meaning here. Every address has got a very deep meaning why he is being addressed that way. So here he says, you have already won over all the king. So the reason of putting this name is that Sanjay is telling Dhritarashtra, man, he is Dhananjaya. He's already won over all the king. Your kingdom and your people are a piece of cakewalk for him. So he's only explaining it so that Dhritarashtra gets into his head that let me just go and stop the war. Even though 10 days have gone and Bhishma Pitama is dead, doesn't matter, he can still stop it. So he says, Devadattam. Devadattam is the name of the count of Arjuna, Dhananjaya either. Then he says, Poundram Dadmau Mahashankam Bhima Karma Vrikodara. Now I have to explain you the other part of this also. So when they set out for this Digvijay, the other person who set out with them, they took with them was Bhim. And Bhim's explanation has come here. Now Bhim, the way Bhim has to be explained, it's a little bit different way to explain. When they went for this Digvijay, there was one king of Magad. His name was Jarasandh. Okay, its description is there in Mahabharata, by the way. Jarasandh was an undefeatable king. He was very, very, very strong, very valorous, and it's not easy to defeat him at all. So Bhagwan knew that the only person who can defeat him is Bhim. So they took Bhim along with him during this Magad visit. But Jarasandh's way of working was, he was a great fan of Brahmanas. He used to respect them a lot. He used to worship them. Even though his actions were not very good, but he had some part of dharma in him. That point I want to bring out. Please remember, however adharmi a person might be, but there are some portions of dharma in an extreme adharmi person also. I'll tell you one small incident, which is a real life incident which happened with me. Once I went to Kashmir long ago, very long ago. So once I went to Kashmir, at that time this terrorism was at the peak. So with great difficulty we went there. So they were talking about some incident which happened there. They said that one terrorist got shot just before that. They said his name is very popular here. Why? I asked him, he was a terrorist, why his name is so popular? Because he used to do a lot of deen dharma here. He used to give a lot of donation to people, help people. So, even however vicious a person may be, some amount of dharma is hidden in everybody. Everybody does some good act in totality of their life. So that's the thing with Jarasandh. Jarasandh was such a king that he used to worship Brahmanas. So what happened? Bhagwan Krishna, Arjun and Bhim, they went in the form of a Brahman to that kingdom. And they went there, and he was a Brahman Sevi, so he served them very well. But by looking at their hands, he understood their hands doesn't seem like a Ved Pati ke haath. Ved Pati ka haath dekha kabhi aapne? Jo Ved padhte honge na sara time, उनके हाथ बड़े डिफरेंट ही होते हैं, सॉफ्ट होते हैं, क्योंकि याग यज्ञ करते हैं और कुछ करते नहीं है. अच्छा, भीम he used to do that war, fight that मल्ल युद्ध कहते हैं उसको, where you fight personally. So Bhim has got a very strong built personality. तो जरासंध को लगा देखकर तो ब्राह्मण नहीं लग रहे, और जब अर्जुन का हाथ देखा तो he saw Arjun's hand has got these signs that he's used bow and arrow a lot of time. उसके चलाने से ना निशान पड़ जाते हैं हाथ पर. So his hands had that marks all together. So he understood they are not Brahmana. Lord Krishna to anyways Bhagwan, so he could understand. So he understood, but they were dressed like Brahmana. He instead of the fact that he understood they are not Brahmana, he never objected. He served them still. At the end of it, Jarasandh asked them, now what do you want from me? He straight asked, because you are Brahman, you can ask me Bhiksha. So Bhagwan Krishna immediately said, we want to fight with you as a Bhiksha. Only Bhagwan Krishna can do such things. Huh? We want to fight with you. You can choose anyone amongst us to fight. Now see, he was a valorous king. He is not somebody who will fight with the weak ones and all. He looked at Arjuna, no, he's not my kind of personality, I won't fight with him. He looked at Bhagwan Krishna also looked lean to him. So he said, I will fight with Bhim. And it is said in Mahabharata that fight went for many days. And Bhima started losing the war. And when he started losing, Bhagwan Krishna said, you cannot defeat Jarasandh like this. He has got a boon. So you have to split his body into two parts and throw into different direction. Now, as per the rule of Malla Yudh, that's not allowed. That's not legal. That's not allowed in the Malla Yudh at all. But Lord Krishna said, so he had to do it. That's how he killed the Jarasandh. Now, Bhim, it is mentioned here, Poundram. Poundram, the moment you listen to the name itself, you think, I don't know how big that shank must be. They say that the count was so huge that none of the Pandavas can even lift that couch. That was the couch of Bhim. Because he himself is a very strong personality. So there are many adjectives given for Bhim here. It says Dadmau Mahashankam. Mahashankam means it's like a big, really big couch. The size itself is so big, nobody can pick it up also. Bhima Karma. Now, Bhim means very, what do you call that? Very kind of very strong and terrifying. Bhim means very terrifying. Bhim is one person who is not averse of doing any terrific action, if it is right. Now you see in Mahabharata, what should I explain you about Bhim's karma? Dushasan, that's one thing I can explain you straight away. He had taken a vow and Dushasan and pulled Draupadi by hair and got her into the Sabha and did the Chirhar, and he said, that hand with you touched her, na? I will just throw that hand outside your body. I'll pull them off your body. And Bhima did it. And it's not that he just said it, he did it. He has got nothing doing. He's not ashamed of doing such acts at all. That's why his name is called Bhima Karma. I told you, all the Kauravas were killed by Bhima alone. All 100 of them was killed by Bhima alone. So he not only pulled the hand out of Dushasan's body, he just broke his heart's ribs and he drank the blood. Can you imagine? You can't even imagine such act. That's why his name is called Bhima Karma. Vrika Udaraha. Vrika means, in Sanskrit means wolf, lomdi. Udaraha means stomach. Now Bhim by his size eats a lot. But have you seen a wolf? See, sometimes you have to see National Geographic and all to understand these things. I will explain you here. Wolf, it eats a lot. Eats really a lot. It eats much bigger than its size. But its stomach will always be thin because its digestion power is very strong. Bhim used to eat a lot. They say that, when Pandavas went for Vanvas, at least, 70% of the food was only for Bhim. With 30%, Pandavas all used to satisfy their hunger. Bhim's eating capacity was that. Then when that thing happened, the Agyatwas, last year of their Vanvas, Agyatwas happened. That's why they said, Bhim, if you go out somewhere and somebody has to give you food, they will by default understand it's Bhim only because nobody can eat that much. So it's better that you only become the cook. Now Bhim has got one more capability which is definitely to bring out. He was a master chef. They say Bhim was such a good chef that there was nobody who could compete with Bhim in cooking also. It's not that he was only eating. He used to be a great cook also. His cooking skill was so much that wherever he cooks, and his measurement has got such thing that no food will go waste at all. That's how Bhim cooks. I don't know how he cooks. His measurement, his way of cooking, his taste of food was really out of the world. That's why he always got that cook job very easily. So he was the cook in that at Agyatwas, and then that's why he said Vrika Udara. He was, even though he used to eat so much, but he's not like bulging tummy and all. It's not like that. Very slim and trim, but very well built. That's why it's mentioned here. So one full line has been given for only Bhima, because Bhima used to be like that. Then they say, then they have to describe other Pandavas now. Ananta Vijayam Raja Kunti Putro Yudhishthiraha. Kunti Putra Yudhishthir. He used the word here, Sanjay used the word Raja. Now see, Raja word was used for Duryodhan also earlier. Right? In the beginning of it, he said Raja. Over there in the second or third shloka, he said that. So since he already said Raja, Sanjay has to split the Raja here. So he explains who is the Raja. Kunti Putraha Yudhishthiraha. That's why he gives two more adjectives to make him understand. And Kunti Putra Yudhishthir. Yudhishthir is the Raja here. And his Shank name is Ananta Vijayam. Now see, one more explanation I'll have to get into here. Yudhishthiraha. The word Yudhishthir means Yudhihi Sthiraha. Yudhi means Yudh. The one who can stand firm in a war. Which war? It's not an external war we are talking about here. In the war of Dharma and Adharma, which keeps happening inside us all the time. In the matter of dharma and adharma, not even for a moment did Maharaj Yudhishthir waver from the side of dharma. In his intellect, this truth was ever shining, and he always lived in this awareness that leaving the side of dharma is the actual defeat of a dharmic person. Not the defeat in a battlefield is the actual defeat. Actual defeat is leaving the side of dharma. However amount of insult one may have to go through, people may leave you alone, may ignore you completely, you may have to go through great amount of difficulties, but standing firm on the side of dharma is the actual victory. In the worldly parlance, there can be many definitions, but Maharaj Yudhishthir always used to go with dharma buddhi, which we call it, or his intellect always used to hold firmly the side of dharma whenever he used to walk through any kind of act or situations. At that point in time, and during the time of Mahabharata, there was a belief that if one king invites another king for a game of dice, he cannot say no. Refusing to be part of a game of dice or play with the other king was equally an adharma as running away from a war field. For a Kshatriya, accepting death is considered to be greater than actually running away from a war field, which is called adharma for a Kshatriya. When the game of dice was going on, Vidur, who happens to be the minister of King Dhritarashtra, knew very well that the only person who has the right and authority to stop this game of dice was Dhritarashtra. So he requested him many times to stop this, because it was very clear in the assembly by whoever was watching this game that Shakuni was actually deceiving in this game. He was cheating in this game to just ensure victory for his side, which is Kauravas. Yudhishthir first kept his kingdom at stake. He lost it. Then he kept his palace at stake. He lost that too. When he lost these things, he said, now I have nothing more to lose. Who's at that point in time, prompted by Shakuni, Duryodhan told Yudhishthir that how can you say that? All your brothers are very valorous and they are known for or ensuring victory at places. They are much more precious than actually gems. So at that time, Yudhishthir had no other option, but he put his brothers, Bhim and Arjun, at stake. And remember, Bhim and Arjun never objected to this decision of Yudhishthir. Once he lost both of them, at that time he put Nakul and Sahadev, which was actually his brother from another mother, Madri, he put them at stake. They also never said or objected anything. You know, whenever these great peoples do some decision making and they make some decision and move ahead with it, it is but sure that, people with smaller intellect like us may not be able to understand. And we start trying to give opinions about them. We only have to see if it is done by Yudhishthir, that means he has actually followed dharma. We may not understand it in common parlance, but it is for us to actually go deeper down and really understand how it is right. At many times, we should not engage into the activity of giving a pass and fail to such people who are greater in their act and greater in their character. We always keep doing that, this is pass, that is fail. That is not right actually. Since it's been done by Yudhishthir and his brothers never objected, that means there is something right in the whole thing altogether. So once he lost Nakul and Sahadev, at that time he put himself at stake. When he lost himself, at that time he again said that, now I have lost everything. I have nothing more to lose. At that time, again prompted by Shakuni, Duryodhan said, husband and wife together becomes one unit. In the form of Yudhishthir, you have only lost half of it. Your other half is still left in the form of Draupadi. Why don't you put her at stake? Remember, if you win this game, you will win back everything what you have lost. He had no other option. A person who has lost everything in such a game and he has got caught up into the trap of dharma and still his mind and intellect stands unwavered and firm on the side of dharma, his name is Yudhishthir. When Draupadi asked Maharaj Dhritarashtra, Pitama Bhishma and Drona on that, how can a person who has already lost himself put another person at stake? What right he has got to put another person on stake? At that time also, nobody in the assembly ever said or uttered that Yudhishthir did adharma. Nobody said that. The answer was clear that in our Sanatan Dharma, there is a concept called Ardhangini. That's the concept we have in our Dharma, where even for a sacred activity of yajna, it is only considered complete when both of them come together. Once a person gets into Grihastha ashram, one individual is accepted only as an half entity. His other half is the other individual which is in that alimony, part of that alimony. Whether he's a male or it's about a female, they both complete this unit and become one full unit. When injustice start to happen with Draupadi and they were planning for her Vastraharan and that thing, and Vidur understood that he do not have the ability to stop it. His advice nobody is listening to, who he is not heard of. In spite of his great efforts of trying to stop this injustice, he is not succeeded in his effort. That's the time he said, there is no point of me staying any further in this assembly. So as an advisor, he had the right to resign and leave from his post when he knew that his advices are not accepted. That's one thing. Not accepting an advice is one thing. But whatever he is advising, completely opposite of that is being done. At that time, he had the right of leaving that assembly, and he did exactly that. The beauty of Pandava side, the most beautiful thing about the Pandava side is that even though Pandava brothers, outside of Yudhishthir, they may get angry in between, they may get the spurt of moment and anger also at situations, and they were all valorous also, but the one thing which they always did was that they just followed Yudhishthir. Irrespective of what the situation is, irrespective of what the situation demands, there may be situations where they only got angry about the things, but they never ever did anything except just following Yudhishthir. In Mahabharata, we see that Dharma has taken two avatar or two incarnations. One as Yudhishthir and the second as Vidur. I spoke about this in one of the sessions before also. That there were three avatars of Dharmaraj in Mahabharata. One as Yudhishthir, one as Vidur, and the third was a Chandal by the name Valmiki, which I already said that. I'm not going to repeat it now. So that's why you will see that Dharma was there on both sides. Of Kaurava also as Vidur, and on the side of Pandava also as Dharmaraj Yudhishthir. But the only difference was, on the side of Pandava, Dharma was the king. Whereas on the side of Kauravas, as Dharma was the son of their servant, Dasi Putra. So, on the side of Pandavas, where Dharma was the king, everything was happening under his leadership. Dharmaraj was the leader there. He was the king over there, and everything happened under his leadership. Whereas on the side of Kaurava, if you see, he was only the son of a servant. He was a minister, definitely, yes. And till the time his advices were accepted wholeheartedly and were followed, Kaurava's side was also rising side in totality. They were rising in their power, they were rising in their fame, they were rising in their achievements. All those things were happening till the time they were following the advice given by Dharmaraj, the incarnation of Dharmaraj, which is as Vidur, Dasiputra as Vidur. But the thing was, on the Kaurava side, the moment his advice, Vidurji's advice, was not according to their wishes, which they have made up in their mind, they never used to accept it, or they just never used to give a heed to it. Or they used to ignore it or just dispense away with the whole thing. They used to refuse it for that. Now, this is what we'll see. However sinful a person may be, in his life also some amount of dharma is there. But the only difference is dharma lives in his life as Dasi Putra or the son of a servant. Till the time the advice of dharma is according to their wishes, according to what their desires are, according to what they have resolved in life or what they have decided in life, it will always be accepted. The moment it goes against their wishes, against their desires, or against what they have decided, from that time on, and they will start giving up dharma or start refusing dharma. That is called Kaurava side. On the Pandav side, Dharma was a king. He was an elder brother. He was the only one who used to take decision. There is no doubt that there is an angry young man like Bhima sitting inside all of us. But yes, however angry that Bhima sitting inside us may get, what he says or what he wants to act will never be accepted. The thing which will be accepted will only be of the elder brother or the king. Dharma, provided that is placed in each one of us as a king in our life. When we read Mahabharata at the time of Vanvas, when they were in the forest, or when the game of dice was going on, we will see, if you read Mahabharata carefully, that Bhim gets angry at many places. He gets really angry at many places. And he says many things also in the spurt of his anger. But he always used to suppress his anger. He never used to let it come out as an act. He never acted as per his anger. None of the Pandavas ever used to take a decision. The decision was always taken by Yudhishthir. At times, Arjun also got angry in the spurt of moments, but you will see those instances are very, very, very few. Who to count that in Mahabharata? When we read the personality of Arjuna, you will see that he's got a mesmerizing personality. You will see that he's so good. No wonder why he got Bhagwan with him, and he got the Bhagavad Gita, so to say. So we'll see that at any point in time, they never went against what Maharaj Yudhishthir said. All the four Pandavas, and including Draupadi also. Bhim also knew it very well. Well, I still say many things, but Arjun, he's got complete surrender to Maharaj Yudhishthir or his elder brother. Whatever Maharaj Yudhishthir used to say, that is only going to be done. That is only supposed to be done by us. Till the time Maharaj Yudhishthir never said yes for a war, none of the Pandavas ever said or asked for the war. When Maharaj Yudhishthir said that all the efforts have already been done, and now I don't think war is avoidable, till that time from Pandava side, the war was never declared. When we see this, we know that we all should have such kind of a leadership within us who knows the side of dharma very well. Even in the deep subjects of dharma, his mind enters. That kind of a mind enters. And even though worldly parlance, our mind may get attracted to many different things, may get into the spur of the moment and all those things, whatever people may say, because many people don't know what they're saying also, what they're understanding also. But you see, if we have somebody like Maharaj Yudhishthir in us in terms of dharma, the knowledge, one who has the complete knowledge of dharma, our life will definitely is going to be peaceful and calm and much better, and we are definitely going to grow in life. There are many decisions in the life of Yudhishthir also. Many people with normal parlance, they can't understand why he did that and how he did that. But that's a different subject, because that's how the people's understanding are about. But the people who are blessed with the knowledge of this Sanatan Dharam parampara, or this lineage, the knowledge of this lineage, and they know about the Vedas, and they have an understanding of the subject of dharma, they definitely know it very well, that what Yudhishthira did was right only. So here it says, the name of the conch which Yudhishthira blew was Ananta Vijayam. Now, we need to understand one thing very well. Whatever conch is blown by dharma, definitely it cannot be defeated ever. That has to win ever. That's why it's called Ananta Vijayam. That one wins always. Ananta. Never ending victory. If somebody is firm in the matter of dharma, his victory is definitely guaranteed. As it is said in Sanatan Dharma, Yato Dharma Tato Jaya. This is a principle that wherever dharma is, victory has to be on that side. It cannot be questioned at all. It is definitely going to happen that way. It is said that once a situation happened where he had to somewhat say a lie, Maharaj Yudhishthir. I would not say exactly a lie, but he said something which created a kind of confusion in the whole situation. And the event is that where Bhagwan told him to say that Ashwathama has been killed. Whereas he knew it very well that an elephant by the name of Ashwathama has been killed. So he should have said that Kunjaraha Ashwathama Hataha. Whereas he said Ashwathama Hataha, and after that statement he said Narova Kunjarova. When he said Narova Kunjarova, both Bhagwan and Bhim suppressed that whole thing in Narova Kunjarova statement, and with a blow of their conch, they blew their conch so loud that this word Narova Kunjarova got suppressed in the whole thing. It is seen that even in the life of patient people, not patient as in medical patient, the people who have immense amount of patience in their life also, there are situations which come which put pressure on them. So we should not take the pressure of situation very lightly. There are great people also who had been caught up in the pressure of situation, and they had to make a decision at the spurt of a moment, this side or that side, and both may have their own ramifications. For people like Yudhishthir, if it can create a pressure on them, then what to talk about people like us in whose life these kind of situations do come up. At that time, and that was the only way to force Dronacharya to leave his weapons, because that's what he said at the beginning of the war when Yudhishthir went and asked him, can we kill you? That he said, just tell me something which really deeply emotionally hurts me. I will leave my weapon and sit there, then at that time you can kill me. So you can see, even in the situations when situations put such amount of pressure, and Bhagwan is telling him, I'm telling you, just say it. At that time, Yudhishthir had to say something. In spite of such a situation, he was so firm in his faith towards dharma and his hold towards dharma, he never said lie. He only said something which created a kind of situation in the situation of confusion in the air. Whatever little bit was left out, Bhagwan Krishna completed it, because Bhagwan Krishna's principle is very clear. Whatever it may be, adharma should get defeated, should lose, and dharma should always win. Even if adharma is standing in behind the shield of dharma, adharma has to be killed. And for that also, even if the shield of dharma has to be broken, which I already narrated an incident of Vrinda and Jalandhar, which comes from Ramcharitmanas in terms of Ramji's avatar, or even if for killing adharma, the shield of dharma has to be broken, it has to be done, because at the end, Dharma needs to win, not adharma. One death or killing of Abhimanyu became so expensive for the Kaurava side that once Abhimanyu was killed in the Chakravyuh by cheating by Kauravas, after that Bhagwan said, nothing doing, let's kill all of them. Till the time Abhimanyu was killed, not even a single adharma was done from the side of Pandavas. But once Abhimanyu got killed, Bhagwan said, nothing doing, let me just kill each one of them, even if we have to go through different route or through cheating, we have to kill them. So you see, Pitama Bhishma, Dronacharya, Karna, Shalya, Jayadratha, all of them got killed by way of deceiving. Till the time Abhimanyu was killed, not even a single amount of adharma was done from the Pandava side. But this is a Yuddha Niti also. Shatam prati shatyam samacharet. As the war becomes, if dharma has to win, you have to change certain sides. It's just to defeat the other side of the army. Many a times it is seen, even if a person is very firm in his life about dharma, and there is a situation which arises in his life where he has to say a lie, I would say Bhagwan only, he takes that thing and Bhagwan only says the lie for that person. And even if for his victory he may have to go through different route or follow the actual channel or not follow the legal route, I think Bhagwan will only take the incarnation to do that part for him, because he is such a firm on his dharma that way. Then it says about Nakul and Sahadev, if the name of their conches are listed down there. Nakul blew his conch, the name of which is Sughosha, and Sahadev blew his conch, and the name of which is Mani Pushpak. That's the name of the conch which was blown by Sahadev. Bhagwan Vedavyas now takes the name of the conch of different people in the Pandava army. That's what the next two shlokas are all about, the 17th and 18th. I'll read the shloka. Kashyascha parameshwasah shikhandi cha maharathah drishtadhyumno viratascha satyakischa parajitah drupado draupadeyascha sarvashah prithvipate saubhadrascha mahabahuh shankhan dadmuf prithak prithak kashyascha parameshwasah शिखंडी च महारथः दृष्टद्युम्नो विराटश्च सात्यकिश्चापराजितः द्रुपदो द्रौपदेयाश्च सर्वशः पृथ्वीपते सौभद्रश्च महाबाहुः शंखान् दद्मुः पृथक् पृथक्. So he starts listing down different people in Pandava army who blew their respective conches. The first name which comes up is Kashi Raj, Kashyascha. He has been given an adjective of Parameshwasaha. He has been given that designation of Parameshwasa. Parameshwasa means he had a very huge bow. Of course, bow and arrow, I would say. He was an expert in the field of archery. He was very good with this bow and arrow. Oh, that's why his name, he's been given a designation or an upadhi here, Parameshwasaha. He was very good with his archery. And then we'll see the next name is Shikhandi. Now, Shikhandi, I told you about the story in the beginning. When Bhishma Pitama kidnapped three girls, Amba, Ambika and Ambalika, of which Amba said, I am already in love with someone, so I cannot marry a Vichitra Virya here. So she was allowed to go, but that person never accepted her. So she decided that Bhishma Pitama is the one who spoiled my life, so I want to kill him. Now Bhishma Pitama is a very valorous man, and he cannot be killed just like that. So imagine, and she went and did great penance, tapas, to get the power to kill Bhishma Pitama. Then she died. She was born as Shikhandi in the next life. Shikhandi, now you know that Shikhandi was a eunuch in Mahabharata. Imagine, in spite of whatever kind of power you have, penance gives you so much ability that in the next life she's born as Shikhandi. She gets the power to fight Bhishma Pitama and becomes the reason for killing Bhishma Pitama also. So they name here both Kashiraj and Shikhandi as Maharatha. Then they name Drishtadyumna. Drishtadyumna is the son of Drupad Maharaj. And I told you he was born out of Yajna. Both him and Draupadi were born out of Yajna. So since he was born out of Agni, or came out of Agni Devata, that's why he was having a very fiery personality. It's like a fire who would burn anyone types. So he had a very fiery personality. So that's what he named here Drishtadyumna, Drupad Putra. Then he names King Virata. Then he names another person by the name Satyaki. I need to tell you something about Satyaki here. Now, Satyaki was part of the Yadav Sena. He was the part of Yadav army. And you know that when both Duryodhan and Arjuna came to ask boon from Bhagwan said, you have two options. Either I will be with you, I'll fight with you, but I will not take or touch any weapon, or you can get my Narayan Sena. So Narayan Sena was given to Duryodhan. Satyaki should have gone to fight from the side of Kaurava. But Satyaki chose to stay back. He never went with the Narayan Sena because of a reason, and that, first of all Satyaki was, devoted towards Bhagwan Krishna. And also, he was a disciple, or he was a student of actually Arjuna. He learned the entire, Yuddha Vidya, or the techniques to fight from Arjuna. So he was actually a student of Duryodhana. So, and he had great liking and reverence for Duryodhana being his teacher, and he had great devotions towards Lord Krishna. So he decided not to go with them to fight for the Narayan Sena. He joined Pandava side, and he fought from the side of Pandava. There is one adjective given for Satyaki here, aparajitaha. Now the adjective for Satyaki is that aparajita means one who has never been defeated. Now Satyaki is someone who has never been defeated in any war. He is an undefeated champion actually. Another name of Satyaki is Yuyudhan. It came in the earlier verses also. When Duryodhan was listing down the side of Pandavas, he said Yuyudhanaha. So Yuyudhan is the name of Satyaki only. Then he lists down Maharaj Drupadaha, Draupadeyascha. Draupadeyascha means the son of Draupadi, the 5 sons of Draupadi. And he lists down here for all these people, Sarvashaha Prithvipate. All of them are Prithvipate. They have won over many wars in the world. They are actually the one who rule over the world. Prithvipate, one who rules over the world. Then he names Saubhadrascha. Saubhadrascha means and Subhadra's son. That means Abhimanyu here. Mahabahu, who is a Mahabahu, who can fight big wars and is really a great valorous person, a great fighter that way, one who can really fight many wars, and he's really great in his technique of wars as well. They all blew their shankha, conch, shankhan dadmuhu, they blew their conch, prathak means separately. They each blew their conch separate from each other. All of them blew their conch. Now in the 19th shloka, which will come now, he talks about the sound which reverberated out of the conches being blown by Pandavas, the Pandava side. He says, Saghosho dhartarashtranam hridayani vyadarayat nabhascha prithvim chaiva tumulo vyanunadayan सघोषो धार्तराष्ट्राणां हृदयानि व्यदारयत् नभश्च पृथिवीं चैव tumulo vyanunadayan. Now he describes here the sound which reverberated out of the conches being blown by Pandavas. He says, Sa Ghosha, that sound. What happened? Dhartarashtranam hridayani vedarayat. It pierced through the heart of the army which was standing to fight from the side of Dhritarashtra's son. Dhartarashtranam. Dhartarashtanam goes for both people actually. Dhritarashtra's son is also Dhartarashtanam, and the army standing to fight from the side of Dhritarashtra is also Dhartarashtanam. It pierced through the heart means it generated fear in their heart, which means what? Actually, it made them feel the fear of losing this battle at that point in time. They already lost the battle at the time the conches were blown by the side of Pandavas itself. The sound itself made them lose the battle. They literally lost the battle before even the battle has started. And how is that sound? The adjective given for the sound is Nabhascha prithivim cha eva tumulo vyanunadayan. The sound was so fearsome, it was so fearful, it was so loud that it reverberated through Nabhascha. Nabhascha means Akasha, sky. I would use the word space actually. And Prithivim cha, it reverberated to each corner of the earth. Prithivim cha, the whole of earth was covered by the sound of this blow, the conches being blown by the Pandava side. The space, sky means, actually the reason Nabhascha, I would not use the word sky only because sky we'll take it in a limited way. Nabhascha means it reverberated into the whole universe is what is meant here. Nabhascha prithivim cha eva. In each corner of the earth also, the sound of this conch, the sound of the conch was heard. Puja Swami Subhadanand ji used to say this thing. Even the sannyasis sitting on the earth and meditating, they could have heard this sound and they would have felt that some big war has started. Now I'll take the next shloka next time, and in the next shloka it will come that how Arjuna, when he enters the war field, he sees the Dhritarashtra Putra arranged there. He doesn't see the whole army in the beginning. Whereas if you remember, when Duryodhana saw the Pandava side, he saw the kind of formation of the Pandava army. He didn't see Pandav Putras only. Whereas Arjuna here, when he goes, he sees the Dhritarashtra Putra first. He doesn't see the formation. That we'll see in the next class. Kayena vacha manasendriyairva buddhyatmana va prakrite swabhavat karomi yadyat sakalam parasmai narayanaeti samarpayami Shriman Narayanayeti samarpayami. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.